everyone, Daniel here, SFG1, and today I'm going to show you the kettlebell deadlift. Before we get started with that, I will teach you the hip hinge, which, as Dan Jones says in Pavel's book Simple and Sinister, it is the most powerful movement that a person can perform. Let's talk about the hip hinge now. When you approach the kettlebell, make sure that you have a nice and wide stance, should be shoulder width or slightly wider. Take your palms, place them into your groin, and then push your hips backwards. That's very important, and you keep pushing backwards, okay? Not downwards, but we want to push backwards, okay? Now you're going to feel a slight stretch into your hamstrings, and that's fine. That means that you found your hip hinge, okay? Try to keep your back nice and flat. Retract your shoulder blades and feel the lats. They should be activated. Brace your abs, and this is it. This is your hip hinge, okay? So just try practicing a little bit, pushing your hips backwards a few times, just to get used to the feeling of performing a hip hinge. Alright everyone, now I'm going to show you how the kettlebell deadlift is performed. As we said, our stance is going to be wide, shoulder width or slightly wider, toes pointed outwards, not more than a 45 degrees angle, and we start by performing the hip hinge. Push your hip nice and backwards, okay? Feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings. Retract your scapulas, feel that stretch in your lats, okay? Your lats are activated now, and we are going to go down, okay? Eye in the horizon, back nice and flat. We're not looking at the kettlebell, we know it's there, okay? So let's go down. Okay, once we are here, guys, make sure that your hips are always on top of your knees, okay? Don't go down. We're not performing the squat, okay? When you are grabbing the weight, your hips have to be on top of your knees and has to be lower than your shoulders, okay? That's very, very important. All right, let's go again, and this time performing a hold rep. On the top position, make sure that your arms are nice and long, your abs are braced like you're ready for a punch, your traps are nice and relaxed, and your glutes are nice and tight, okay? When we drop the weight, we want to keep it as close as possible to our body and not put it in front of us, but right where we picked it up, okay? From in between our feet, okay? And we're going to do it by performing the same hip hinge. Okay, so the weight is nice and in between our feet, okay? Alright everyone, this was my kettlebell deadlift guide for you. And before you guys go, I want to remind you just a few important things about today's lesson. Number one is how you set up for the deadlift. Make sure that you always have the proper stance. Number two is the hip hinge. Very, very, very important, guys. Number three are the checkpoints: your tight hamstrings, flat back, brace your abs, scapulas retracted, and activate your lats, okay? Eyes on the horizon. And number four is, remember, it's not a squat, it is a deadlift. So make sure that when you come up, everything comes up in a nice and fluid motion all at once, okay? Thank you guys, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you find this video useful. For any information, don't hesitate to write down below in a comment, and live strong.